What's up, everybody? So, day 82 of this journey, day 82. I think this week has been probably one of the best weeks, mainly because I think I'm starting to get a better understanding of the do's and the don'ts of life, right? Do's and don'ts of being at peace. I think the more we worry about things that we can't control, things that we have no control over, the worse we feel about our current situation. And it's true, you hear a lot about, people only on social media, they only post the wins, right? They never post their failures. So people start to kind of judge themselves on those wins that they're seeing on these social medias, Instagram, you name it. And they're like, man, why am I not there? I mean, that person looks younger than me, and why does that person have a house? Or why does that person seem like they have a happy marriage, But you don't know what's behind that. You don't know what's behind the scenes on the issues and troubles. I mean, one of the biggest things that kind of came to my mind, or the biggest events that kind of came to my mind, was a person like Robin Williams. I know he's been passed away for a few years, but here's a man that he made his living making people happy. And I know growing up, I mean, he was one of my favorite actors, and he was definitely a funny guy, and just what seemed to be an all-around good guy, right? And genuinely a big heart, and tried to help out as many people as he could. Did a lot of helping out in the community and stuff like that, and just shared himself with everybody. But yet he felt lonely, and eventually ended up taking his own life, which is very sad. And it kind of puts things in a perspective to where you don't really know the battles that people fight. You don't know the inner demons that people have. And yes, you see smiles on the big screen, you see smiles on social media, but you don't know how bad they're burning inside. And I think we cause that to ourselves. We cause that drama, that that feeling of not measuring up, because we tend to set the bar to everybody else's wins. We set our own bar, our own standards to everybody else's achievements, which is not good, right? So I went to Bible studies this Tuesday, and there was a gentleman that was there, and what his story, pretty much his testament, kind of touched me, because kind of put things in perspective for my life. And I've always been a person that's ambitious, and I've always been the type of person that's fallen down and got up by myself, and never really asked for anybody's help, and struggled. I mean, I struggled bad and financially, and I think I'm in a state right now where I'm not doing great, but I'm not doing bad. It's not I'm okay, right? And this person pretty much said that he was at a point in time where he just got married, had kids, was doing very good financially, to where the point where him and his wife would be driving down the street or driving down wherever they were residing in, and they would see a house that was for sale. They liked it, they bought it. That's how well off they were financially. And he said that was like their routine, was they would just drive and they'd be like, oh, I like the house, and buy it, right? Which is crazy. But then, something happened, and he said, this is the way he described it. He said something happened that opened his eyes to the things that he was missing out on. And what happened was that he was playing a softball game, went out to catch a fly ball, ended up crashing. I guess he was playing second base, ended up crashing with the guy in center field, broke his leg in two places. His business was like a construction or something like that. He was a contractor or something of that sort. Don't really recall, but he missed out because of that fracture on his legs, or that broken leg. He missed out on a lot of deals, a lot of jobs for his business, and ended up ultimately losing his business, losing his houses and stuff like that, and almost put him in the brink of divorce. Right now, he's has a regular job, and he says he's more at peace than when he was making a lot more money. He says he's making 4 times less the amount of money that he was making at that time. But he's happier because he's able to come home and spend time with his family, with his kids. He felt like he was missing out on time with his wife, missing out on, seeing his kids grow up. And it kind of put things in perspective for myself, because I'm a guy that's always been a workaholic, and I think I've been that way because I've always pushed myself to make sure that my family and my kids have what I didn't, right? And I didn't want them to struggle the way that I did. I didn't want them to struggle, being made fun of at school because they had Payless shoes, or being made fun of school because they had to wear the same t-shirt or the same jeans or the same shorts 2 days in a row, right? And not knocking my dad, because my dad and my mom did their best, man. They did their best, and I appreciate everything that they've done and all the sacrifices they've done for us. But, as a parent and growing up, I think you always want to better yourself and provide better for your kids, right? You always feel that you missed out on something, and you want to be able to give that and provide that for your kids and your family. But this man's story put things in perspective, because at the end of the day, my kids are not going to remember the toys that I got them. They're not going to remember, oh, my dad got me Nike shoes when I was 5. My dad got me, name brand clothes. They're not going to remember that. They're going to remember my dad always worked. My dad was never there on the weekends with us. My dad was constantly on his phone working, constantly on the computer working, right? He never played with me. He never hugged me. That's one thing I do remember about my dad is I never got an I love you from my dad. I never got a hug from my dad. And I think I try to do that a lot with my kids. I do tell them I love them all the time. I hug them all the time. But this constant working and feeling like you have to measure up financially because you think that your kids need all that money, and really what they need is all your time, or as much time as you can give, because obviously you have to provide, you have to put food on the table, roof over the head, and all that good stuff, right? But you also have to be able to kind of balance that with valuable time spent with them. And it put so much into perspective for me, man. And it's these classes, these reading God's word, it really has changed me in a positive way. And I think this week itself, is another one of those humbling weeks where I still have the same issues and the same problems and the same worries, but I worry less about it because my mind's state is different. I just feel more at peace with things. I'm not a person, and I think it's gonna take me some time and a lot of work to kind of come to terms where being comfortable and not really grinding the way that I do, right? But I think there's times where we have to kind of prioritize stuff, and obviously lead with God first, and then make time for the kids, and kind of like work comes last type of thing. But this week has been great, and I kind of urge all of you guys to kind of think about things and really put like a telescope on the way that we're living our lives right now. See if it kind of makes sense, because money comes and goes. It comes and goes, and no matter how much money you make, you end up spending that same amount. And I've noticed that people live to their means, right? And again, I've that's another kind of example I can give is a while ago I noticed there was a guy that was working as a janitor or working at McDonald's or something like that, and I saw that same guy at the park with his kids, and they were so happy, they were content. And in my mind I couldn't grasp, like, man, how can you be content working at a minimum wage job, man? Like, how do you make it? How do you, especially living in California, man, how do you pay your rent? How do you pay your mortgage? How do you pay your car, man? Like, it's how, right? But then you start to think, man, it's like his priority is not the cars, not the big house, not the Nike shoes or the Prada handbags or the Prada wallet or the Oakley sunglasses. It's just, he's not materialistic about anything. I mean, his kids did have good clothes and everything, but it just seemed like they were happier. Like money wasn't an issue, even though in my mind, or I thought, like, how is it not an issue, man? Like, you work at a minimum wage job. I don't think McDonald's pays, $40K a year or anything like that. Like, I'm surprised. I'd be surprised if they make more than $25 a year. But it's crazy. It's crazy how you know, we live to our means, and if you end up making $1 million a year, I guarantee you're going to be spending $1 million a year, right? I think we just have to get better. We have to get better. We have to allow ourselves to open our minds, open our hearts to the Word of God, and in that same instance, kind of learn about our mistakes that we're making right now, because it's things that He's trying to show us, but we're overlooking, right? And it's this same instance, this same situation that I kind of learned this week, man, that kind of opened my eyes to things and kind of has me thinking differently. Like, I want, like, just as bad as I want to work and provide for my kids, now I just the same, I want to spend more time with them and call them and be able to see their smiles and see that daddy loves them, you know? I think now my mindset is a lot different. So, just want to let you guys know, give you guys an update, you know, 82, day 82. But it's great. It's great. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I hope it speaks to you a certain way, and I hope at least one of you is touched, and kind of one of you is, you know, opens up your mind to the thought of kind of analyzing what we're doing right now, and you know, I hope things look up for you. All right, thanks guys. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.